With the most popular decks in the format being relatively slow-paced and control-oriented, Zeon decks may just rise to the top. And while green is the primary color for Zeon, you can splash red for bigger finishers or go blue if you want an even faster-paced game. Our ideal clock is to end the game around turn 6, before threats like Freedom Gundam and Wing Gundam Zero can stabilize the board. To hit that window, we lower our curve and flood the early turns with units so we outnumber their blockers. Even on turn 1, we want to start deploying units. Even if these Zakus do not have any additional effects, just having them on the board to exert pressure is enough. We just have to get through their base, and every shield after that is only 1 health, so our unit's stats really do not matter as much in the early game when we're trying to push the tempo. That said, Zaku 2 is still a very important card. It gains 2 AP on our turn, so its 3 AP is often exactly what we need to smash an opponent's EX base and keep the momentum going for our smaller units. Card advantage is huge for aggro. The worst case for us is running out of steam while they build blockers and removal. That's why cards that generate more units are key. Token makers like Falmo, Goof, and Charged Zaku 2 from GDO 1 fit perfectly. Even though Charged Zaku 2 only makes its token after it's destroyed and paired, that fact alone makes opponents think twice about swinging into it. It's an extra body they'll have to clear. Another card that follows a similar pattern is also Charged Zaku 2, but this one from the start decks. Instead of a token, it lets you look at the top 3 cards and add a Zeon or Neo Zeon card to hand. Sometimes that's better than an immediate body. It finds what you need and sets up your mid-game. This card also pairs beautifully with Dop. Dop is a turn 1 drop that smooths draws by letting you look at the top card and either keep it there or put it on the bottom. That's huge when you want to keep playable early drops and shove unplayable cards for the game state to the bottom. Part of why Zeon is so strong here is Char Aznavour. A lot of our units link with him, and that high maneuver unblockable swing can just end games on the spot. That's also why Char's Galgook is absurd. With a Char already in trash, we can generate surprise unblockable swings from hand by discarding a card. Overall, we want to keep the curve low, flood early, prioritize token value engines, and exploit Char synergies for those game-ending swings. There are some other green units we can consider. First, since there are no blockers in the deck, we will sometimes have to clear our units ourselves. Rick Dom allows us to not lose our tempo with its breach, where we can continue applying pressure when we're not directly attacking a base. Big Zam could be our finisher by just getting rid of all low-level blockers so we're clear to just swing for the win. And its Link Pilot, Dazzle Zabi, is also a command that we can play to give us 2 1/1 Zaku 2 tokens to keep applying pressure. So let's say we want to splash red. We unlock some of the nastiest unit pilot links in the format. Sinanju is already a powerhouse, high maneuver when paired, plus a little removal when it destroys a shielder base. But pair it with full frontal and the card goes to next level. You can swing with it the moment it hits the table and keep developing the board even when resources look thin. One of the nastiest lines is full frontal plus Sinanju, cheat and Char's Galgook for free, then use Galgook to link to your Char Aznavour from the trash. Suddenly, you've got 2 unblockable swings out of nowhere. That kind of cheating units into play is game breaking. And if you want to replicate that effect more consistently, consider a base like Zanzibar, which can also drop a Zeon unit that's level 4 or lower from your hand for free. Kachatra is another sleeper pick in the red splash. Paired with a Cyber new type or new type pilot, it pings up to 2 enemy units for 1 damage each. That sounds small, but in practice, it finishes off blockers that have been weakened by trades. Most of our Zeon units sit at 3 AP, and a card you see a lot right now is Gundam Lefrith. When Lefrith blocks, it often survives with just 1 HP, and Kachatra lets us clear those out. Even better, pair Kashatra with Merida Cruz, and the damage becomes meaningful fast. The 1 damage from Kashatra plus Merida's on-swing damage equals to 2 on a unit before the opponent can respond. That's how we deal with annoying staples like Zord or the Sword Strike Gundam token from the Striker pack, both common answers in the current meta. Z-Zulu is excellent right now. Having that 4 AP when we swing so the opponent's Gundam Lefrith doesn't trade favorably keeps our pressure rolling. Zaku 1 Sniper type is another card to consider. Its support 1 helps our 3 AP Zeon units actually trade with Lefrith, and just the potential to net an extra card when you deploy it is huge. It also links well with Zeon trade pilots like Char, which keeps our options flexible. So that covers the red-green Zeon plan, and here's a sample deck list for you to try this deck out yourself. If we splash blue, the plan shifts to a faster go-wide beatdown that continues to apply pressure by resting the opponent's units. Amuro Ray is the big reason here. He can rest things in the early to mid game so we can swing in more often with our units. Naturally, we want a Gundam to pair with him. The link buffs our whole board, and Repair 2 lets Gundam make favorable trades while staying alive. To lock things down, Intercept Orders is another option. Tapping blockers out of the way lets us push through shields and finish games before the opponent stabilizes. G-Fighter is another must. Its deploy effect can give a wide base team unit high maneuver, allowing us to continue taking out shields even when blockers are present. But we don't want Gundam to be the only beneficiary, so include Guntank as the second target, helping clear blockers left over from earlier trades, as well as Gun Cannon to tap down even more units when paired with a Muro Ray. And then the Show of Resolve is another blue staple here. It replenishes your hand so you can keep dumping bodies without running dry. And a base card we have access to now from splashing blue is Corsica base. I think there's an argument to be had on which base is better, this or Falmo. For an aggressive deck, I think Corsica base is actually better. A 4-2 on its first deploy when we have no other copies in the trash is already better than the 3-1 we get. And sometimes the extra bodies is actually what we want when we're trying to close the game. However, we don't get anything from its burst effect, but I honestly don't think that matters as much, since we're the ones going on aggression, and playing this like a command from the hand is what we're looking to do anyways. And here's a simple deck list for my take on the blue-green Zeon deck. So what do you think about Zeon in the current meta? Do you prefer the version with red or blue? I personally lean towards blue-green because it exerts more pressure earlier. Still, the red splash has clear benefits for closing games with bigger and more impactful links. Tell me which version you like and why in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next one.